How to write a pickup field report, why you should be doing it, why does it work, why you should be doing it at all, what's the purpose of it. This is what I want to discuss today. And if you're in my group, this video I made specifically for you guys. I recommend that you guys write out your field reports and post them in the Telegram group. And if you're watching this on YouTube, the link's in the description. You can join up to the Telegram group there. So to start with, the most common thing that I see, and I have been seeing it for a decade now, is so many guys would write it. The reason why I'm laughing, I want to make it clear, is that I see so many field reports that are written. There's no real structure. It's just, I woke up, I went here, I met girl, we went blah blah blah, and it's almost like just a story of what happened from his point of view, and it's very subjective. It's designed to make him feel good about himself, and when he would post it in, say, Facebook groups or anywhere else, he didn't really care about any feedback. He wasn't posting it there to learn or improve. Most of the guys that I see out in the community, they post their field reports just to tell people how awesome they are, and they really don't give a fuck what you think. It's quite frustrating from a point of view of someone who wants to improve, and someone that would like other people to improve as well. And also that type of person, when they're doing that and they're not taking any feedback on, and they just don't care about anyone's opinion, they're doing themselves a disservice as well. A lot of these guys, they just have an ego, and most of the time they're getting results based on them just being handsome pretty boys, and it has nothing to do with skill, it has nothing to do with strategy, it has nothing to do with proper analysis, because they don't have any of it. Skill, analysis, they don't have a strategy either. It's just pretty boy approaches MILF, gets laid, posts shitty field report, doesn't care what anyone thinks. So don't be that guy. I wanted to point that out straight away, because I think that's really important, and that's connected to what I want to talk about today with writing a field report. Is one thing that the schooling system did get right. There's so many problems with the public schooling system, high school, even university. But one thing that they did get right is that when you write something down, or even just type it out on a laptop, when you write it out, or even on your phone, you're writing out a story, even if you don't read that ever again, you're more likely to remember the structure of what happened, and it'll give you a better picture of what happened. Even if it was yesterday, last week, etc., you write that down, then you go, oh, that's what happened, and this is the sequence in which this happened. So it'll give you more of an objective view of what you did, how it played out, and even if you got a huge ego and you don't want to have a good look at what you did wrong, you still, deep down, you know what went wrong, right? That is really important, just to have a bit of an idea of what actually happened. The second most important thing that I'd like to point out why you should be writing a field report is that you have a strategy, you have a purpose full way of writing it to try and get to the bottom of what you're doing wrong. That's a roundabout way of me pointing it out. You have to have a purpose for writing it, which is designed to get to the bottom of what is going wrong so that you can improve it in the future, because we're looking into the future, your future self, getting more girls, getting the proper girlfriend, possibly getting a wife in the future. And if you're doing everything wrong at the moment and you're not really getting any results, you don't know what's happening, how do you expect to improve? Also, if you're actually at the stage where you decided to write some field reports, but you're only writing up, oh, this is a victory of mine, just so that you can chase validation in the groups, then that's not improving either, is it? So what you should be aiming for is, okay, I've written out a few field reports, this is what happened, It doesn't matter. I wouldn't put it in a box of this is what I did right and this is what I did wrong, because you don't know. What do you know? That's the most important thing. Is like you say, oh, I did this right. Well, how do you know that's right? Oh, I did this wrong. How do you know that's wrong? You don't know. The whole point of you writing it out in the first place is just to have a proper understanding of what actually happened. Okay? And then what you do is you post it somewhere and you get feedback by in a group full of helpful guys that are well-meaningful guys that want to support you. If you post it in a group and you get comments like sly comments or even one sly comment, leave the fucking group, because the admins of that group don't deserve you in the group. Leave the fucking group. If you're posting something and you want to improve yourself and people are giving you some sort of shit, leave the fucking group. Tell the admin to fuck off. It's really important that you find a group that's supportive of you, okay, so that you can post your field reports and look for some sort of feedback. And you know, some feedback might be some newbie trying to explain something and he doesn't understand what he's talking about, so you have to have a bit of a nuance in your thinking when you're reading the comments. Some guys are going to know what they're talking about, some guys are not. Some guys are going to comment on something where you didn't really give enough information within your field report. This is an ongoing process of you trying to figure out what the hell went on, what the hell went wrong, and what the hell can you do right in the future. And that's really difficult. We also record our sets. That's really important. We record our interactions, because the amount of times that guys will go out there and they'll say, look, I had an awesome interaction, and then they go home and they listen to the same interaction that they thought was awesome. When they go home and they listen to it, and they were stuttering and they were talking over the girl, and they were slurring their words a little bit, they were a little bit nervous, and they didn't notice that because all the adrenaline was pumping during the interaction. So if you can somehow put out, obviously, a field report, a written field report, and an audio, then we're going to have a far better picture of what is going on, and so are you. This is how you coach yourself, because this is far more complicated than a lot of people give it credit for. It's a complicated thing, and if you're not putting in the work, then, well, all those little 1%, you're not going to get those gains. And those 1% do matter when it comes to you improving and getting the girlfriend that you want, getting the wife that you want. I would argue that this is really important. I actually had a chat to a guy recently, and he went to check out a life coach, and he came to me because he had read my book, which is a pretty brutal story, by the way, and so he thought that I was kind of a life coach, and I was like, no, out of all of the things in the world that I think are really important, I think finding yourself either just getting laid, finding yourself a good girlfriend or a rotation of girls, or finding a good wife is way up the top for me, because it can solve a lot of other problems that you would have in your life. And then it gets back to this video, why you should be writing field reports. It is so important to pump some out, get some feedback, try to figure out what you should be working on, and then pump out another one, and try to figure out how you can solve each of those problems. Don't start telling people on your first report what you did right and what you did wrong, because I would put money on it, I would gamble with you, that when you put in your field report that you've done something right, I would argue that a lot of the times what you think is right is actually wrong. I've read some of them and I just think, oh no, that was ridiculous. And that will only come with experience. And just keep in mind that you're supposed to fail forward. You're supposed to mess this up. You're supposed to mess everything up. It's the only way to get better at something. Look at my website. It's an absolute mess at the moment. I'm failing forward. I'm trying to improve that. like I do with every aspect of my life. And with pickup and meeting girls, I recommend that you fail forward. You make sure that you make a lot of mistakes, you clean them up, you figure out what you're doing wrong and try to fix it up, and then move forward and keep going. So for you guys in the group, write out some field reports, give us a good objective analysis of what's going on, and then we'll try and give some feedback and try to figure out what is going wrong, and then you have a goal on what you should be working on over the next week, months. Pump out some more, try to improve on that weakness that you've got, and keep failing forward. Eventually you'll get there with hard work, and that's really important, I think. And if you're in a group where they're not really that supportive and they're just leaving sly comments, leave the group, come join mine. Pump out some field reports and we'll get to the bottom of what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong, and hopefully improve your game, because that, I think, is the goal of most men out there. So I'll see you guys in the next video.